Hello and welcome back to my channel of Welshman Reviews, and welcome to a new corner of my channel, which is Horror Friday. So I did mention this in a few videos back, an update on my channel, that Fridays are going to be all about horror. So I'll be doing rankings, talking about movies probably on some Fridays. And seeing as Scream 6 just came out last week, I thought what a better time to do my Scream ranking video. So let's delve right in with number 6. So number 6 in my ranking is Scream 5. Now don't get me wrong with this ranking. My ranking is going to be a bit different to some of the people, some others I've seen, apart from number 1. Obviously it is, but yeah, I do class this whole series as 3 out of 5 and above anyway. So it's not really a bad movie in this series to me. But for some reason, Scream 5 just didn't resonate with me that much compared to the other movies. I wasn't a big fan of some of the characters. Not the main characters. I think Tara and her sister Sam. It is. I really did enjoy them. Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera. I think they did an amazing job, and they also do it in the next movie as well. But some of the bit characters in it, like the character of Amber, Mindy, and ones like that, even Sheriff Judy Hicks and her son and all that. I just couldn't get behind them and all that. The characters in this really did bug me a lot in this movie. It's not a bad story. I do like the Billy Loomis as Sam's father, and they went down that route, and you saw some she gets visions of him speaking to her and all that. I just didn't think they did enough with that. They could have done a lot more, and that, including the next movie as well, which I will talk about later. You know, the legacy characters did good as well. Gail Weathers, Sidney Prescott, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox. They were okay and all that. I think they were mainly just thrown back in, to be honest. Probably didn't even need them in the movie, to be perfectly honest. It ain't. But yeah, David Arquette was really good in this movie though. I thought he was thing. Pity they did kill him off. It is. But and the reveal of the killers being Richie, who is Sam's boyfriend, and Amber, that was very... Don't get me wrong, most of these movies don't have the best reveal of killers. I think most of them are lackluster, to be honest. There's only a couple I really like, but this one was really kind of the worst out of the bunch for me, and the reasoning behind it about because they remade doing the movies wrong and all that. Yeah, really got me out of the movie. So that's my number 6. So we go on to number 5 now. That is the newest installment in this series, Scream 6. So I did like this one a lot more than the previous movie. I preferred the characters. I liked them a little, even though some of them were a bit cannon fodder, so you didn't really get to know them too bad. But some of the returning characters, like Chad, was a lot better in this one. Mindy still bugged the hell out of me, but she was a bit better than the previous movie. They did bring in some new characters as well, like Dermot Mulroney as Detective Bailey, who did an excellent job as well. Some others as well on here. I put this a bit higher than the last one because I do like the beginning sequence, the first kill, where the killer reveals himself, and you find out it's Tony Revolori, who you probably know him mainly from the Spider-Man movies, the new MCU. He plays Flash Thompson. So you find out he's a killer who kills Samara Weaving. Unfortunately, he's only in this movie for like 5 minutes. It is, unfortunately. But they have a really good kill in the beginning, thinking him and his roommate are going to be the new killers, but they're not. It's another killer who kills them off. And I did like the killer's reveal at the end. So we had, I'm not too sure, they 3 killers I think were in this one. So obviously spoilers, as I said in the beginning of the video. So Detective Bailey's one of them, with his children Ethan Landry and Quinn Bailey, who were played by Jack Champion and Liana Liberato. And it is a nice little twist because the Quinn character you think died earlier in the movie. So it is a bit like Scream 3, where you think the killer is the person's dead, but he come back as the killer. It is, but the only one is the Ethan character you kind of guess is the killer. You can. But the other two kind of surprised me, and I might be one of the few for that. But a lot of people say, "Oh, I guessed early" and all that. It's like, it generally surprised me for that. But I enjoyed this one. Yeah, the story's not amazing. They didn't really do too much with the Billy Loomis with Sam and all that. They done a tiny bit towards the end of the movie. But, you know, it's a brutal film. Probably the most brutal one out of the whole series. A few good kills. It is, but yeah, surprised me how much I did enjoy this movie. And yeah, I just put it just above part 5. So my number 4 in the list might surprise quite a lot of people, because this is pretty much normally people's second favourite in the series. But my 4th favourite in this thing, and I do like it, but it is Scream 2. The film just doesn't really do it for me as much as the ones above it. It's still a great movie and I do like it. It is, but some of the characters I'm not that bothered. The reveal of the killers, maybe one of them being Billy Loomis's mother's pretty good, but the other one being the friend. I forgot his name now off the top of my head. Not off my head now. I'm trying to look him up quickly and all that, but no, off my head. But the other one being the killer and all that, just didn't do it for me and all that. And very lackluster kills in this one as well. Very boring kills, to be honest. And yeah, it's the setting in the college was good, but we've seen it before in other movies, and it just doesn't do it for me. The movie does. It is a nice thing bringing Cotton back into it and all that, finding out he's an innocent guy and all that. I did like that. The direction by Wes Craven obviously is brilliant and all that. The acting, the actors, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, the usual, really good. It is. It does have a really good opening kill, probably one of the better in the series, with Jada Pickett Smith, isn't it? In the beginning, in the cinema, I thought that was a really good beginning as well. But yeah, just some of the some of the characters behind the main ones, and the reveal of the killers just puts this down on my list compared to the ones I got above it. So yeah, that's my number 4. So at number 3, and this was been my number 2 for quite a long time in my rankings for this, but I rewatched it a bit lately and it has dropped down 1 from my thing. And then you're gonna guess my last 2. Then I'm guessing some of you are gonna be surprised at number 3, number 2. But yeah, number 3 on my list is Scream 4. So I really liked this when it came out. I liked how it went a bit in a new direction a little bit, you know, as Wes Craven normally does. We think goes with the times he does. So yeah, you had the webcam and stuff like that for this movie. I did like the characters. I liked Kirby. She's a fan favourite. And I did like her in this. And I did like her when she came back, which I failed to mention in part 6. She was good in that. Not as good as in this movie, but it was nice to see her other legacy characters come back from the other movies. I did enjoy all the acting in this. I thought Neve Campbell was probably the weakest, to be honest. I didn't think she was that great in this, but Gail and Dwight, I thought they worked really well again in this movie. I actually did prefer his deputy, which is Deputy Judy, who did come back in number 5. I thought she was much better in this, was trying to get in the way, like keep Gail away from the investigation, etc. I thought that was pretty funny. It is, but yeah, really good opening as well. I like how they switch it and just take the mick out of how many sequels happen in a horror franchise and all that. I did like that in the beginning as well. Did have some really good kills in this, especially the cop. What's his name? I forgot his name now, but the black cop, when he gets a knife in the head and pulled out, I thought that was a nice kill. Some pretty good kills in this one. Well directed by Wes Craven. This was his last Scream movie. I can't remember if this was his last movie though. It might have been before he passed away. But some good actors in this, really good it is. And yeah, I like reveal of the killers was pretty good as well. Not too great, not the best reveals. I think for my next two movies I got on my list have the best reveals of the killers in this series. But being as it's Sydney's niece, I think it's her niece or cousin it might have been actually in this, and her friend who's a movie fan, which that's probably the one that's the weakest one, being another movie fan being a killer, similar to part 2 and a bit like part 3 as well. But overall I really do enjoy this one a bit more than the ones I've had before it. That's why I have it on my list. I do it this high. But yeah, that is my number 3. So my number 2, and it probably is a surprise for most people who watch these rankings, is Scream 3. I know this goes down pretty much as one of their worst or last but one in the rankings, but I really love this Scream movie. I love the storyline. I love the actors in it. I think the actors do a brilliant job, especially the ones that are playing the characters of Sydney, Gail Weathers, Dwight Dewey, it is, and all that. The actors in that playing them for the, I can't remember which one, Stab 3 I think it's called. It is in Stab 3. I liked all them and the way that they are, and that I did like it's only one killer. Bit of a change from the last 2 movies. There's always been 2. But the one thing I do like about this thing, where it's a full circle, where they do say in this, it'll things come from the past, and you find out the killer in this movie, Roman Bridger, played by Scott Foley, is the half-sister of Sydney. So Sydney's mother had a little bit of a career in horror movies back in the day before she met her husband, I think it was, and got pregnant, done wild parties and all that, and yeah, disowned him. It disowned him, and he's the reason why things in Scream happened, with especially with Billy and Stu and stuff like that. He outs the mother having affairs and stuff like that. So, and then you find out in this he's the one who actually killed Sydney's mother. It is, so it wasn't Billy, but he was the one who orchestrated it all. I think, I'm sure he killed her. I'm sure they said it in the movie, but he's the one who orchestrated. And I really liked that, and I did like the end and all that, the big reveal and the big battle and all that. Had some pretty good kills in here, nothing too special. Did have a really good opening with Cotton and all that. So they killed I wouldn't say a legacy character, but one who was in a previous movie. It is, that was a good kill, especially with the voice modifier, changing it to sound like the characters from the movie. So instead of having the Ghostface voice, which is Roger Jackson, who does them in every movie, it is. So that was a nice touch as well. But yeah, I really like this movie, and I like this. It's a full circle to finish off that trilogy. It is. But yeah, higher than most people, but that is my ranking. No rankings right, but yeah, number 3 is my second favourite. So last but not least, as in order elimination, my favourite is the original Scream from 1996. This is probably top of most people's lists, and it did change the genre a little bit. I think it was getting a bit stale, horror was, before this. Wes Craven did changing up by bringing in the rules, talking about the rules and all that. Does lean heavily with the Halloween movie, Halloween franchise, or more the first movie, with Randy talking about the rules, etc., and Jamie Lee Curtis being the big Scream Queen, you know, the top Scream Queen. But I love everything about this movie. I do tell people this: if you want to get into horror and you want to get your friends in the horror, I think this is the perfect first movie to get someone in. Don't show them something old. Build them up to the old ones and all that. Because I do understand if you're a new one getting into horror and you go and watch them, you can call them a bit boring. They are a bit slow burn, some of them are, compared to what movies are these days. They're more fast paced, etc. But I think Scream is a good balance in between and all that, where they do talk about it's a homage to the old movies, but bringing something new as well. Like I said, the first kill of this movie is iconic. The voice by Roger Jackson, as I said, with Drew Barrymore. It's the best beginning to all the Scream movies. Probably the best reveal killers at the end as well, being Stu and Billy. That's a brilliant sequence at the end. Every character is brilliant in this. Neve Campbell, Sydney is one of the best final girls, especially from this movie. It is Gail Weathers as the bitchy newscaster, who does mellow out a little bit in the later movies. It is. And Dwight as the bumbling deputy as well. But yeah, overall excellent. The only downside probably are some of the kills are a bit lackluster, but we are talking 96 years, so it's a bit different than all that. But a couple of good kills in it, but nothing too extravagant in this. But yeah, this is definitely close to a perfect movie for me. I do class this probably a 4.5. It is the highest rated one I have in my thing. I never really rated the other ones. It is, but like I said, they're 3 out of 5 and above this series, so I don't hate any of them. There's some I like better than others, obviously, like I said in my ranking, but this is number 1, and yeah, top of the list. And I don't think it'll ever get beaten, even if I have heard, I think they are going to do a Scream 7, but it's not going to beat this one, it ain't. But so that's my ranking. So that's my first Horror Friday. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what your ranking of the Scream movies are and what reasons why you like some of them more than the others. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. I will see you next Horror Friday. Have a good day. See ya.